Hello and welcome. Today we're going to tackle something that's on a lot of parents' and teachers' minds, the Youth Chinese Test, or YCT. Our goal here is super simple, to give you a really clear, practical guide for helping young learners get ready for it, not with stress, but with a real sense of success. So let's dive right in.
It really is the big question, isn't it? For so many of us, the idea of a standardized test for a child can feel, well, a little overwhelming. Where do you even start? And maybe more importantly, how do you make sure it's a positive experience for them?
Right off the bat, we need to get one thing straight. Preparing a child for a language test is completely different from how an adult might do it. The entire approach has to shift away from that high-pressure cramming and memorizing. Instead, it's all about building their confidence and, honestly, their love for the language.
Which, brings us right to the test itself. Before we can figure out how to prepare for it, we really need to understand what the YCT is actually designed to do in the first place. So, the YCT, the Youth Chinese Test, was created way back in 2004 by Hanban, which is part of China's Ministry of Education. And as you can see from its Chinese name, it's made specifically for primary and middle school students who are learning Chinese as a second language. Its whole purpose is to encourage learning, not to be some big, scary barrier.
Now, you've probably heard of the HSK test. It's super important to know that the YCT and HSK aren't competing with each other. They're just different tools for different stages of learning. The YCT is for kids under 16. It uses topics from daily life and even game-like questions to build up their confidence. The HSK, that's for older students and adults, and it's geared toward university or professional goals. Getting this difference is so key, because putting a child on a positive path like the YCT can create a lifelong love for the language, instead of causing early burnout. Okay, so let's look at how this thing is actually structured. The YCT is really smartly divided into two separate tests, one for writing and one for speaking. A child can take just one, or the other, or both. It all depends on their skills and what you're aiming for. The written test has 4 levels, and you can see the vocabulary grows pretty steadily from about 80 words all the way up to 600. But here's the most important detail, and I really want you to notice this. Writing is only introduced at the very last level, YCT 4. This was a really smart, deliberate choice. By focusing the early stages completely on listening and reading, the test lets young learners build this strong, low-pressure foundation first. They get confident with the language before ever having to tackle the much harder skill of writing characters.
And for the speaking test, there are just 2 levels, beginner and intermediate. The tasks are all very practical. A student might just listen and repeat a sentence, or answer a simple question, or describe what's happening in a picture. This design really shows that the test cares about real, active communication, not just memorizing a bunch of words.
Okay, so now we get what the test is all about. Let's get to the heart of it. How do we actually prepare in a way that's effective, and just as important, in a way that's actually friendly for a child?
We should frame our entire approach around this official principle from the test designers themselves. The whole point of the YCT is to promote learning. That means our prep work should just be a positive part of their learning journey, not some stressful detour they have to take.
So, how do we actually do that? Simple. We make it a game. We turn studying into playing. Use songs and stories that sneak in the YCT vocabulary. Play I Spy in Chinese. When you're all at the dinner table, name the different foods in Mandarin. The absolute key here is to connect the language to their world and focus on stuff they actually care about, like animals, their friends, and their family.
And to make sure all that learning actually sticks, you want to focus on consistency, not intensity. A short, daily review is way more effective than a long, painful session once a week. For speaking, create a totally safe space where it's okay to make mistakes. The goal is just to communicate, not be perfect. And when you do use sample papers, think of them as a way to get comfortable with the style of questions, not as a high-stakes practice run.
Okay, now let's talk strategy. More specifically, let's talk about how to avoid some really common pitfalls that can totally derail a child's progress and, their enthusiasm for learning.
This is probably one of the most common questions that parents and teachers have. A child is just starting out, they know about 80 words, so should they go and sit for the official Level 1 exam?
Well, a lot of experts actually suggest a different path. Because kids tend to learn the vocabulary for YCT 1 and 2 pretty quickly, it can be much better to use mock tests for these levels as little internal pats on the back. You celebrate their progress, you build up their confidence, and then you aim for the official YCT 3 or 4 to be their first real, formal sit-down exam experience. A few other mistakes to watch out for. Don't assume that just because a child has studied for a few years, they're automatically at a high level. The best way to know the right level for them is to use an official sample test as a diagnostic tool. And please, remember that language lives outside of textbooks. The YCT tests practical communication, so you have to make sure your practice includes tons of listening and speaking.
All right, so you've picked the right level, you've been practicing in a fun, engaging way. What does that final stretch actually look like? Well, here's a simple, totally manageable roadmap for those last 10 weeks.
We can break this down into 3 clear phases. For the first month or so, your focus is on building and reviewing that core vocabulary. Then, in the second month, you start using those mock papers to get them familiar with the test format. Then, and this part is so important, in the last 2 weeks, you stop introducing new material. The focus shifts completely to light review, consolidating what they know, and just resting.
And this brings us right back to that philosophy we started with. The final 2 weeks are absolutely not for cramming. They are for building psychological readiness. A calm, confident kid who knows what to expect from the test format will always do better than a stressed out kid who tried to learn 50 new words the night before.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's boil everything down to the most important points that you can take away and start using right now.
Here's your checklist. Number 1, always prioritize confidence. Number 2, choose the right level by using those diagnostic tests, not just by guessing. 3, keep the whole learning process joyful and engaging. And finally, number 4, follow a calm, structured plan that puts review and rest first in those final weeks.
And that really is the bottom line, isn't it? The YCT certificate is a wonderful milestone, for sure, but the real prize is the confidence, the skills, and the love for learning that a child gains along the way. Preparing for this test can truly be one of the most rewarding parts of their entire language journey.